Nearly 240 million children worldwide have some form of disability, according to UNICEF's Fact Sheet 2021 report. Also, the UNFPA's 2021 World Population Dashboard reveals that an estimated 32 million Nigerians, including children, live with one or more disabilities and face various forms of discrimination, including limited access to basic social services such as healthcare and education. According to additional research, northern Nigeria has a higher number of people with disabilities, including children. However, the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities (CRPD) explains that children with disabilities include those who have long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairments, which in interaction with various barriers may hinder their full and effective participation in society on an equal basis. These disabilities could be caused by preventable diseases, congenital malformations, birth-related incidents, physical injury, or psychological dysfunction. PWDs are commonly viewed as cursed in many communities due to misguided cultural beliefs. This, combined with the high cost of managing severe disability cases, has resulted in poor identification, evaluation, screening, and placement of disabled children. As a result of the stigma associated with disability, parents frequently hide their children to avoid embarrassment. Its prevalence and rising concern in Nigeria's northern region prompted the Kaduna State government to introduce the Disability Bill, which legitimizes the struggle and acknowledges that persons with disabilities are as human as the next person. In the same vein, the government also proposed the establishment of a disability trust fund, if passed, would adequately meet the needs of its citizens living with all types of disabilities. This came after the Evidence and Collaboration for Inclusive Development ECID collaboration with the Kaduna State government and 6 local partners in the state to ensure effective data collection to address identified issues of the targeted groups across 16 communities in 4 local government areas of the state, with the goal of reducing poverty and improving the well-being of over 200,000 marginalized groups in Kaduna and Anambra states. While the government has made efforts to relieve many people in the situation, many people in Kaduna State continue to struggle to cope with and manage the situation.
It's not easy, it's a rough journey so far, but for now, alhamdulillah.
Haske Children Foundation, formed by Fatima Bello after losing her niece with Down syndrome due to a surgery complication, is one of the individuals and projects helping children with disabilities. Years later, Fatima Bello made a decision to reach out to those living with disabilities and devise ways to change the negative narrative that surrounds the disabled.
My niece was born with Down syndrome, and she was born in Nigeria. And at the time, we were living in the States. And so she came to the States for heart surgery. Unfortunately, after her heart surgery, that went well, but she got meningitis, and that's what affected her brain. And she got brain damage from that. And so from that, she lost her ability to walk, to talk, to crawl, all motor skills. She lost the ability to hear, to see, to speak, and she couldn't eat on her own. She couldn't use the bathroom on her own. She needed to be fed through a feeding tube. She had a trach to help her breathe, and she was on oxygen. Well, as a kid, it really bothered me to see the way people acted towards her, especially the family back in Nigeria.
Since its inception in 2020, Haske Children's Foundation has provided medical supplies, checkups, and surgeries to over 200 disabled children in northern Nigeria, primarily in Kaduna and Katsina states. Seizures, cerebral palsy, cancer, and leg surgery are part of treatments executed by the foundation. Other medical issues and treatments addressed by the foundation include limb lengthening, limb reconstruction system, fracture, sickle cell, screening, health counseling, amongst others.
Ta bangaren Dara da bangaren Haske Foundation.
Okay.
Sai gaskiya sun ba mu gudunmawa sosai ba ma za ta lissafu ba. Sai dai Allah saka da alheri.
Okay.
Ga biyan kuɗin magani, kwanciya har kashi wannan kashi da yawa ma dai ga aiki da aka yi mana kashi biyu. Ga magunguna da ake
sun taimake mu ta ɓangare daban-daban, ɓangaren asibiti, kwanciya, magani, abinci, duk babu wanda ba a taimake mu. Yarinya ta abinci da kayan magani da kuɗin asibiti duk an siya mana.
Masha Allah, ga jikinta na yayi kyau sosai.
Alhamdulillah, idan yanzu yara ku ganta ma nan sati biyu baya sai kun yi mamaki wallahi.
So far, several families have been assigned monthly medication and checkups, and over 170 children have received medical supplies such as drugs, Ripple mattresses, wheelchairs, and walking aids, to name just a few. They are also introducing disability conversations into Kaduna State communities and working to change the negative narrative surrounding disabled people and their parents through health campaigns in which they speak with community leaders, women leaders, primary healthcare workers, and expecting mothers about the importance of seeking medical attention for parents with disabled children before the situation worsens, and media awareness, particularly on indigenous channels. Furthermore, individuals and parents referred to Haske Children Foundation are counseled and educated in preparation for the medical process, while also collaborating with other educational inclusion initiatives. An instance is their collaboration with the Initiative for Aid and Education Development Foundation to design inclusive classrooms for children of all abilities, as well as teaching methods that account for different learning abilities. They are also organizing teacher trainings in Kaduna State to educate public and private school teachers on the best way to educate disabled children. Children and their parents are also counseled and educated on ways to eliminate stigma amongst people with disabilities through seminars, exhibitions, and community outreaches.
SAL Classroom, as I said, is a classroom program that caters for the needs for children from low-income communities, and we have 8 students. 4 of the students are male, and we have 4 female students. And then 2 out of the students have a disability, and that is where our partnership with Haske started, because Haske Children Foundation, they support those children with disabilities. So what we're trying to do with the classroom is, not only are we trying to create and provide for children from low-income communities, we're also trying to create basically best practice for how to design and implement classrooms, especially for children from low-income backgrounds. So part of that is obviously being inclusive in our approach to designing classrooms, because what you find is, especially for low-income settings, they don't really make provisions for children with disabilities. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to learn and integrate children with different abilities, so physical or academic disabilities or such. So that is essentially it.
In January 2023, Fatima organized the first health fair in Kaduna State, where a team of medical experts were invited to provide free consultations to children from low-income households who couldn't afford medical checkups. Food, snacks, drinks, and play materials were provided for both parents and children. During the one-day health fair, 128 children received free health consultations, 5 of whom were scheduled for follow-up checks for possible surgeries, and 4 for monthly supplies.
Actually, the founder is my younger sister. So, and then we are all here in support. And the reason why she started a foundation was because of my niece, my late niece. So we are all in this together just to help other families overcome the stress of having a child with disability and all other stuff.
According to Fatima, besides the need for funds for urgent medical financial support and execution of projects, the foundation is in the difficult position of displaying graphic images of their beneficiaries on their social media platforms to attract supporters and sponsors like their counterparts, a situation that does not sit well with the initiative. Another of its challenges is persuading parents to disregard cultural beliefs and accept medical results with potential solutions. The Haske Foundation also bemoaned the cunning means by which people frequently call in to lie about children's non-existent medical conditions in order to gain favor from the foundation.
One of the biggest problems we have right now is fundraising, and I think it has to do with the fact that we are a newer foundation. And then another thing is, I know a lot of people in this line of work, they tend to have a lot of visual aids on their social medias to kind of show the children that they're helping. And so that's something that we rather not do, to post the children and the type of videos we get, because they are quite explicit. So I think that's one of the challenges we're having, is trying to figure out a way to raise money and show people that, you know, your money is going to good use, without having to post the very graphic pictures and videos that we get. Another challenge we get is the vetting process. When we get, unfortunately, we have people that do reach out and say, you know, their child is in a situation and their child isn't in a situation. And so having to, you know, contact a hospital and the doctor or like a school and say, do you have this child in your care? So I think that's one of the challenges too, is unfortunately there are a lot of people that are taking advantage of foundations, and yeah.
The Haske Foundation's gesture of providing aid and support to disabled children falls in line with the words of Robert M. Ensel, which says that there is no greater disability in society than the inability to see a person as more. This initiative has chosen to see disabled children as more than their disabilities.